All right, we'll take up file 2021-9457 NA, the matter of Luna Landis. This is the date and time set for hearing in this matter. The matter was set for a review. Mr. Salasina is here on behalf of the department. Mr. Janice is here, and he represents Stephen Landis. Stephen, he's not present right now.
It's actually supposed to be like in this meeting. My foster care worker, Mitchell, he called the jail and he's like supposed to be included, but I don't see him on the roster here.
Yeah, I don't either. Let me look into that real quick. I guess before I do that, Mr. Good is here. He represents Ariel Ware, who's present. And Ms. Bartow's here on behalf of the child. Let me step out for just a second and have the clerk contact the jail.
The buttons are not for you.
All right, we have Mr. Landis here now, and we'll proceed. We're doing the matter via Zoom and YouTube Live. Any objections?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Salasina, how do you want to begin?
If I could, Your Honor, I'd like to call Mr. Mitchell Olivares as my first witness.
All right, sir, do you swear or affirm any testimony you give in this cause and be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Olivares, could you please identify yourself for the court record, spelling your first and last name?
Yes, my name is Mitchell Olivares. First name Mittchell. Last name Olivares, Olivarez. And I am the foster care caseworker at Bethany Christian Services for this case.
Okay. During the past reporting period, have you had at least monthly face-to-face contact with Luna Landis?
Yes.
Okay. Where has Luna been placed during the past reporting period?
She has been placed with her paternal grandparents, Greg and Lalana Landis.
And have there been any concerns regarding that placement?
Nope, not at all.
Is that placement providing Luna with extracurricular or enrichment activities that would meet the reasonable prudent parenting standard?
Yes, she is involved. I know last went a tumbling class, but I think they talked about taking her out of there and putting her in a dance class.
Okay. And has Luna had any physical or mental health concerns during the past reporting period?
No.
And has Luna had any educational concerns during the past reporting period?
No.
What services has Luna received during the past reporting period?
Oh, she is currently not involved in any.
Okay. And have you had contact with Luna's mother, Ariel Ware, during the past reporting period?
Yes.
What was the nature of your contact with Miss Ware?
We'll try to we do month-to-month visits, sometimes once a week, few times a week, either face-to-face, phone call, text exchanges, just kind of talking on a decent, almost a regular basis.
Okay. What services has Miss Ware engaged with this past reporting period?
She does drug screens whenever we ask her. She's currently involved in therapy through Health West, face-to-face visits. That's pretty much it.
Do you believe that Ms. Ware is complying with and benefiting from those services?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What are the current barriers to reunifying Luna with her mother?
Still right now, it's just her emotional stability, substance abuse, domestic relations, and resource management.
Why do you believe that those are still barriers to reunification?
Just kind of currently right now, emotional stability, she's in therapy right now, but still she's working on herself. She's slowly opening up more to her therapist and the conversations we have. Substance abuse, she's doing really well at maintaining her sobriety, and that's something we just want to see on, and hopefully she can maintain it through the kind of stressful times as right now being a single parent. Domestic relations, just for the past allegations of domestic violence that were in the relationship previously, we still haven't truly found like the true cause of, if there was some, if there wasn't. Then resource management, there was recently a CPS investigation opened up on Ariel for outstanding bills and had her heat and water turned off, but those got resolved.
Okay. So, are there any additional services that could be put into place to help Ms. Ware overcome these barriers to reunification within a reasonable amount of time?
Yes,
What services are those?
that we plan on having her go back into another budgeting class to help her maintain her a monthly income, kind of have her set out what can help her, kind of just have a plan of, all right, this is what's for rent, this is what for bills are. Then we're also going to have her do healthy families and also FTBS.
Okay. Uh, is Miss Weir receiving parenting time with Luna?
Yes, she is.
How often is that occurring?
She sees her once a week from their scheduled dates are the scheduled parenting times are supposed to be from noon on Friday to around 2 or 3 o'clock on Saturday. But with Ariel's work schedule, that the foster family and myself have been flexible with making her accommodating her for her work schedule to make sure these parenting times do get in so that she sees her.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about how these parenting times have gone during the past reporting period?
I know there's just been some misparenting times. I know there's at one point there has been a kind of a decent streak of misparenting times, but that was also due to sickness and Ariel's work schedule. So besides kind of then, just another concern would just kind of be the bonding between Ariel and Luna.
Okay. Why is bonding a concern?
Just, I mean, I've spoke with Ariel and she's reported to me that she has a great connect. She has a bond with all her other children. And she's reported to me that she loves Luna. She's her daughter. She'll do anything for her. But just like the bond and connection just kind of feels different with her.
Okay. Have you had contact with Mr. Landis during the past reporting period?
Yes, I spoke with him this past Monday, the 6th.
And how frequently have you had contact with Mr. Landis?
This is the first time I've talked to him since he's been incarcerated. I know previously before I've met with him, he said that he didn't want any contact with us, that he just wanted to do his time and kind of just get released. But I guess when I talked to him on Monday, I guess that was kind of miscommunication between us, where he miscommunicated and said he still wanted to be involved, that he wants to be part of the plan and do FTMs and all that, which I told him that we can have that going on forward and maintain communication with him.
Okay. Do you know why Mr. Landis is currently incarcerated?
From, I want to say before I took over the case, I believe, allegations with another CPS worker, something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. So these aren't new allegations.
No.
All right. And has Mr. Landis engaged in any services during the past reporting period?
He has not.
Okay. To your knowledge, what are the barriers for unifying Luna with Mr. Landis at this time?
Emotional stability, substance abuse, domestic relations, and his resource management as well.
Okay. Can you offer Mr. Landis services to overcome these barriers for reunification?
We are currently working on that in a process. We just had a meeting about that and trying to see if there's services through Health West I can work with in Newaygo County. I know after speaking with Stephen on Monday that services through the Newaygo County Jail aren't offered.
Okay. To your knowledge, is Mr. Landis engaging in any sort of parenting time?
I know that when Luna and the other kids are in Ariel's care, that he is speaking to them over the phone and via video chats and calls when he can.
Okay. What are the what sort of recommendations do you have for this case going forward at this time?
I say kind of just maintain her current placement right now, and have Luna stay in Greg Milana's care. And the permanency plan for this one last reporting period remain unification to kind of make sure that slowly have the barriers be reduced, and hopefully Ariel continues to improve, and if not, then we would have to change the goal.
What sort of alternative goal would you be looking at?
I have spoke with the foster family about for a permanent placement with Luna via guardianship.
Okay. So you'd really like to see, especially Miss Ware, address some of these barriers to reunification during the next reporting period.
Yes.
Okay. And if she did that, reunification would be possible, correct?
Yes, if she maintains the progress and also have set up a plan with Steven when he gets out too, if Ariel continues to rectify these barriers and continue to do well and excel and kind of do better, then yes.
Okay. What would be the substantial risk and harm in returning the child to either parent at this time?
The harm would probably be neglect, just kind of, just more of income, like also management, just not being able to meet Luna's needs at the time.
Okay. Do you have any plan to increase parenting time with Miss Ware during the next reporting period?
Yes, we do. Our plan is to kind of put them up the parenting times, give her one more day, kind of up the responsibilities on her and put more of the responsibility on Miss Ware and Ariel.
Okay. Do you have a plan for reintegrating Mr. Landis into the family upon his release from incarceration?
Yes, we are putting in a plan and making sure that we can get the resources for Steven when he gets out to have him set up with counseling, have him continue doing drug screens, help him find employment. You set him up with a new recovery coach just to make sure that he can kind of slowly reintegrate back with the family and kind of have those services in place for him. So when he gets out, he can kind of resume what he was doing.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Olivares. I have no further questions.
Ms. Barco, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. So you testified that Miss Ware had a new CPS investigation due to her heat and water being shut off at her current home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, you said that issue was resolved. How was it resolved?
Oh, I meant to say, it was resolved by the CPS worker from Muscogee County was able to pay her outstanding electric bill to have it turned back on. She has heat right now currently in the home and she has hot water.
So the department paid for the heat and water to be turned back on?
Yes.
My water was never shut off. I would just like to interject that.
Ariel,
All right.
Okay, and I'm just gonna say Mitchell because I don't wanna totally wreck your last name. We participated in a case conference regarding Luna at the end of December 2022. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, and at that time, we discussed the upcoming hearing. We discussed extending parenting time leading up to today's hearing. Why did parenting time not get extended?
Because our meeting was right before the CPS complaint came in. So at that time, we couldn't extend the parenting time without any heat, hot water in the home during the cold months of the year.
Okay. So Miss Ware has parenting time basically every Friday afternoon to Saturday afternoon. How many has she missed since January 1st of 2023? Do you know?
She has missed 3 as of now, 4 with this previous weekend.
Okay, so 3 or 4, that's more missed than she's had more missed than she's had parenting time.
Yes.
So would you agree that she's had approximately 1 to 2 parenting time since January 1?
Yes.
Is that a concern of the agency?
It is, but like I stated before, some of it was due to work complications, illness. So, I mean, it is a concern to the agency, and it is a concern that there's no bond forming between either Ariel or Luna at the moment.
So if the agency increases parenting time, if another reporting period is given for the goal of reunification, what is the plan for parenting time? What is the plan to increase? What is the plan for childcare when Ariel has Luna and she has to work? Because that's a part of life.
The plan would be to keep her one day on the weekends, her Friday to Saturday. I even talked to Ariel about maybe trying to move it to a different day that works best for her to accommodate her work schedule. And also to put a weekday in there too, to see if Ariel can balance everyday challenges of, finding, having taken Stella and Luna to care, even if that's dropping Luna off before she goes into work to Greg and Lalana's home too as well.
Have you discussed potential daycare or caregivers with Miss Ware?
I have. She has provided me with who she would have as their care, which would either be her aunt or her cousin.
Okay, have you done any background checks or anything on either one of those people?
Not at the moment. We have not right now, just due to this not proceeding, her not getting an extra day.
Okay, but that's a part of the plan?
Yes, that is. Yeah.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Good?
If you can recall, when was the last time my client tested positive for methamphetamine?
Not within this reporting period. I want to say since I've taken over the case in May of 2022, she has not tested positive
Okay.
for methamphetamine.
But we're still listing substance abuse as a barrier.
Just for the past history of just being there from the triggers and everything being around them. I know back in August, it's kind of been, just been talked about, but no, I mean, yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of just one of those ongoing issues.
Okay, and there's parenting classes that Ariel's completed, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So there isn't, give me 1 second here, bear with me, I'm sorry.
So my parenting classes were
Ariel, shut up.
okay.
We gotta go through the right order of things here, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So you're not aware of any parenting classes she took on her own?
No, not that I'm aware. No.
Okay, so you're not aware of a certificate of completion for feeding your infant solid foods?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I apologize about that. Yes, no, she did take that. She did send me the certificate of completion a while
Okay,
back. Yeah.
okay. And she's already completed a budgeting class, correct?
She reports she has, but we have not got any proof of it. There's one that the agency paid for, and we've contacted the worker for who did that, and she said that Ariel and Steven were logged on with their camera off for about 10 minutes, then just got off.
Okay. But you're asking for another budgeting class or something of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. How long has Ariel lived in her current home?
They moved in there mid to late October 2022. They were fixing it up. Then they fully moved in early November 2022.
Okay. So some months now anyway. Did Ariel buy that home or is she renting it or what's the situation with that?
She is renting it at the moment. She did tell me on Monday that she is, once she gets her tax return, she's going to be in the process of purchasing the home.
Okay. And Ariel is still seeing a therapist, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, is that bi-weekly?
Yep, bi-weekly, virtually every Wednesday.
Okay. And you testified that the plan moving forward is to increase parenting time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, would that be, and I know it's kind of hard to nail down, but would it be something to the effect of 2 days a week or another overnight on the weekend, or
It would
what do you
be,
think that?
it would
what do
be
you think
2
that's gonna
days a
look like?
week. It'd be 2 days a week, still with the overnight and 1 day of just in one regular day throughout the kind of the work day, working, hours from
Okay,
8 to 5 type deal. Well, I mean, it's something we'll talk about.
okay. And you said her missed parenting times this year were accounted for in either illness or work schedules, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as your agency is concerned, and you can correct me if I'm mischaracterizing it, but that's not real, those missed times aren't being held against her?
No, not for illness or work.
Okay. Has Ariel communicated to you any problems she's had getting parenting times arranged with the foster parents?
No, there's just been a few misunderstandings, just kind of on like the schedules and work and all that. But besides that, there's really been no issues.
Okay, has Ariel communicated to you anything regarding the foster parents' actual daughter and her communications with Ariel?
I don't believe so. She might have, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Denise, any questions?
Really, the only question I have is what is Mr. Landis's out date from jail?
He told me on Tuesday it is April 27th. I'm sorry, not Tuesday, Monday. It's April 27th of this year.
All right, do you intend to, on his release, begin setting up some of his counseling sessions and classes for him?
Yeah. Yes, upon his release, we plan on having something in place for him to kind of to get right going into his counseling sessions and all that.
Good, that's all the questions I have.
So, sir, the law says, if the child has been in foster care for 15 of the most recent 22 months, I'm supposed to either direct the department to file a petition to terminate parental rights or consider compelling reasons why the child should not be, or why that should not occur and why the child shouldn't be returned to the parents. We're well over that. We're at 21 straight months. What are the compelling reasons not to return this child at this time or to direct you to file to terminate parental rights?
I mean, at the moment, Ariel she's slowly getting there. I know before I took over the case, Ariel seemed very hesitant to even participate in any services. Ariel is slowly starting to kind of understand what she needs to do. She's slowly getting it done. She's slowly doing it without the department help with DHS. There's been a few times she's reached out to help. It's just one of those things, she's on the cusp of being there and getting there. It's just, she needs a little more time for it.
But the substantial risk you just said neglect without any specifics and or that she can't meet the child's needs. But that doesn't really tell me anything either. If you're talking financial, it sounds like she has a job. If you just say neglect and she's done the parenting class, she's tested negative for any illegal substances for like 8 or 9 or maybe 8 or 9 months. A budgeting class can certainly be done while the child's in her care and she's engaged in therapy. I guess I don't see the substantial risk. Why shouldn't the child be returned immediately?
I mean, just the bond, there's really no connection with Ariel and Luna whatsoever. There's no bond there.
I get that, but that bond is being created. I mean, the child was returned to when she was very young, but the goal is reunification. The goal has never been recommended to be changed to something else, or at least it wasn't changed if it was recommended. And that's not an allegation that's been made part of a petition for a different outcome. All right, any other questions for this witness?
No,
I have
Not
some
at this time.
follow-up, I guess, Your Honor.
All right,
Mr. Olivares, could a compelling reason in this case to continue the case be the fact that there was recently CPS investigation into the family?
Yes,
And could another compelling reason be the fact that there's a relative who is currently providing placement of the child?
yes,
And that you think that with either a little bit more time, the child could be reunified permanently with at least with the mother in this case, or alternatively, the child could be provided for through guardianship if it was determined that even more additional time was necessary?
yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Olivares. I have no further questions.
any other questions for Mr. Oliveris?
no,
No,
May I
Your
speak,
Honor.
Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Salasina, any other evidence you want to present?
Not for today's purposes, Your Honor.
May I speak, Your Honor?
you
Oh,
probably
not
should.
yet. You haven't had a
Probably
chance to
shouldn't.
speak to your lawyer. I don't know if that's a good idea.
I have not gotten a chance to speak with my attorney before this. And the things that I do have to say, I am completely comfortable saying without speaking to my attorney first.
Mr. Janice, do you want to let your client speak?
Let my client speak.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. The goal has been reunification, and on top of the budgeting class, the finance class, we've took several parenting classes and have sent confirmation to either Brian Vanderzalm or Mr. Oliveris. We have a 7-month-old daughter who we have had since she's been born. We are qualified fit parents to have our 7-year-old. We have also received back 50-50 custody of our 7-year-old, our 6-year-old, and our soon-to-be 3-year-old. If we're qualified fit parents for the other 4 children, I don't understand what the holdup has been with Luna. We were told at the last court date that we were going to be scheduled more parenting time. And we have not received it. As far as Mr. Good asked Mr. Oliveira if there's been any issues with if it's been reported that Greg and Leilana have not given us our daughter off their end, not that Ariel's canceled, just this past the past time Ariel went to get her, that they refused to give our daughter to us. They took our overnights on a Sunday without any confirmation they were allowed to do that. There's also been numerous allegations to Mr. Oliveris about Leilana cutting our daughter's hair. And from my understanding, we still have parental rights. There's been numerous times that we've talked to Mr. Oliveris about Greg and Leilana's daughter, Alyssa, making false allegations against us. As well as, I know that he said that heat and the electric were shut off. Our heat and electric was never shut off. A fuse blew, and because I was not there to change it, it took a little while to get an electrician in there. Mr. Celestino said to Mr. Oliveris that this could be an issue because of the CPS allegation. The allegation was closed. The allegation was that we were using heaters, which Mr. Brian Vanderzalm and Angela Pullman, when we lived in Pentwater, we were assured that electric heaters were perfectly viable in our Pentwater home because when they get tipped over, they shut off. They have safety switches. Mr. Vanderzalm can verify that. We always had heat. We never once did not have heat in our home. It was just electric heaters, which apparently was an issue. So literally the next week, we got our furnace turned on. We stopped using electric heaters. As far as there never being any water, our water was never shut off. That fuse that blew in our electric, we're running to our water heater for the hot water to work, which Ariel has a babysitter, her aunt, for Stella. We have had our daughter for 7 months. We have had the other kids and we don't miss visits. Since I know there's not much I can do from in here, but since I've been in here, every time Ariel's picked up Luna and the other kids, I make sure I'm at visits. I make sure I see my daughter. Luna calls me daddy. Luna calls Ariel mom. She knows who we are. If we don't get a chance to get our daughter back, we are never gonna build the bond that Mr. Oliveira is claiming we do not have. We have proven fit parents for over the past year. We have refrained from using methamphetamines. We have refrained from criminal activity. We have refrained from doing anything. We have fought tooth and nail for our daughter. The goal is reunification. We have a 7-month-old daughter who there's not an issue. If we can't have Luna back, then how come they haven't tried to take Stella? We are completely fit, Your Honor. We have fought tooth and nail for a year and a half. Leilani canceled our daughter's birthday, her first birthday that we had set up. Ariel had it set up since I've been in here for a sleigh ride. And well, lo and behold, that got canceled. Every time that they've canceled, that not one, we've asked for Mr. Oliveira if we can have proof. Since every time we have to cancel a visit, every time there's any, we prove everything without a doubt. Without fact, we prove everything that we've done or have not been able to do. We prove why. When we've had visits canceled on Greg and Leilana's end, I haven't heard one time of them getting proof from the doctor. Mr. Oliveira's, what he has talked to us about, what he told Ariel Ware, and he told me myself last Monday or Sunday, whenever I talked to him, the things that he comes into this courthouse and says are completely different than what he has told us. I believe, I know the goal is reunification. We have had our daughter for 7 months. We were told during court that, oh, well, we are going to wait until you have the baby and get comfortable with the new baby. That was 7 months ago. Ariel has sent text messages showing that all of our bills are zero. The Muskegon County helped pay with the electric bill. The electric bill was from 2020 and 2021. The electric bill, the past due amount was before all this. This had nothing to do with the past due amount that they helped with was past due. It had nothing to do with not being paid now. She has been on top of all the bills. She has 2 jobs. She works for In-Home Healthcare and she works at B-Dubs. Oh, she has a babysitter for Stella, who has already guaranteed that it will not be an issue to have Luna there as well. We're excited to have our daughter back. We just keep getting pushed back, and we've jumped through all the hoops. We've done everything. We went out of our way. I had a case manager, therapist, and a recovery coach before I got incarcerated from 2021. I'm paying my past due debt. And as soon as this is done, I've already told Mr. Oliveira, he never told me he was gonna help me into therapy. I told him what my plan was, my 2-year plan. And he never said anything about helping me find a job. I told him, I have 2 job offers right now. I have, everything is lined up.
Stephen, you've made a good explanation. I think for listening to it, let's.
And I actually sent Mitchell, Stevens' lead manager, shift manager. I actually sent Mitchell his name, his number, and where he would work. He actually sent me an email proving that Steven has a job lined up. All Mitchell had to do was call the number and get proof of that. He's going to be a grinder fabricator. So I sent that through as well.
All right, Mr. Celestine, any final comments?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Good?
Yeah, Your Honor, just briefly, I know we're running a little long, but I mean, I think in a lot of these cases, sometimes the department or, the private agency in this case, it's just like, we're doing this for the sake of dragging it out, or, well, let's do this and let's more this and more that. And it's like, I don't see I don't see much of a danger in Ariel getting her daughter back. Now, I know there's going to be a little bit of logistical challenge once Steven's out of jail, and that's going to have to be figured out. Maybe he doesn't come home to the home right away, or something else has to be figured out. But I mean, she's working, she's got a house. I mean, everything's going okay. She hasn't tested positive in forever. You know, she's going to counseling, she's finished classes, she's, you know, done everything that's been asked of her, and sometimes done twice. So, you know, we really, the ball needs to be sped up quite a bit to get us towards reunification. I mean, one of the services that was recommended, FTBS, I believe, starts usually when reunification starts or right around the same time. So, this needs to speed up. I mean, we can keep doing this forever, you know, and more classes and more this and more that, but we kind of need to get on with it.
Mr. Janice?
Well, I guess my position, which comes from my client, goes to the bottom line is, why do we have one child kept from the family and the rest of the children with the family? They're all working hard to make this happen. And yes, my client is incarcerated. He's paying for something that happened a couple of years ago. He's paying his dues, but when he gets out, he intends to get the counseling and the things he needs, and also he has a job lined up. I don't see why they are delaying bringing the child back.
All right, and Ms. Barco, I guess I didn't ask you if you had a report on the child.
I do. She's thriving in her current placement, as she has been this entire time. She attends daycare regularly. She's bonded with many family members outside of the home. So as far as the report, as far as Luna in her current placement, she's doing great. Do you want my opinion on everything else?
Sure.
Okay. So my biggest concern, I give Stephen and Ariel major kudos for maintaining sobriety. Lord knows they have overcome that, it seems, and that is huge. However, visits. Stella was born in June. The idea was reunification would speed up in June. That didn't happen because of more CPS investigations. I believe their electric got shut off at that time. There was a potential eviction, so visits were never sped up. The consistency of visits is my biggest concern. If they so desperately want their daughter back, then why would they not take the 24 hours a week that they get with her and spend it? They cancel, they're late, they're returning her early. I understand work schedules, but that is a part of life. They know every week when her visit is scheduled, and they don't make it happen. So I know that does not rise to the level of abuse and neglect. I completely understand that, but that's a huge concern. I've recommended or asked for guardianship, I think, at the last 3 hearings, and I understand nobody agrees with me, and that's okay, but I've asked for it several times. I don't know what the issue is if they want their daughter back in their care to the extent that they say that they do.
Your Honor, would it be okay if I was sworn in and provided a position of the department?
I guess, can I call
Well, you have an attorney for that. He hasn't called you as a witness, and now I've heard all the witnesses and the arguments of counsel. I think I'm ready to make a decision. At this time, I'll accept the report, and the child that remain a ward of the court referred to the department for care placement and supervision, and Bethany Christian Services for care placement and supervision. It appears that the child does have access to experiences and activities that qualify under the reasonable prudent parenting standard. The current placement will be maintained at this time, and the parents will be directed to continue to comply with and benefit from the parent agency treatment plan. The permanency planning goal will remain reunification. Unsupervised parenting time with Ms. Ware will increase over the next few weeks, actually through the month of March. Her parenting time will be increased to extended overnights, and the child will be returned on March 30th. That's about a month and a half to work toward that. When the child is returned, the department or Bethany will implement family reunification plan, intensive in-home services at that time. the parties would be directed to continue to comply with and benefit from services. And I'll set it for an earlier review on May 3rd at 3 p.m. That'll be shortly after Mr. Landis is released from jail, if we had the date right. And we can take a look at it at that time. Ms. Ware will have had the child in her care for a couple months by that time, solo, and then that'll be a good time to have a hearing to see how Mr. Landis's progress has been accessing services in jail to help transition him back into the dynamic at that point. I think family reunification plan services usually exceed that period of time, so that'll kind of straddle the period of time that she has the child alone. And then it'll also govern some of the time when Mr. Landis is back in the picture in the home. I think that's a fair resolution to the matter. I will admit this case has gone on for a long, long time. I'll admit that Ms. Ware and Mr. Landis have made great strides since day one, especially. But it's taken some time. And I can't simply ignore the fact that the child Luna has never really been in their care. And she was born and the case was filed right around the same time. And there have been missed visits, which have kind of hampered that relationship. So hopefully with these operating instructions, that gets the ball rolling on more visits, extended visits, to work toward this reunification at the end of March. If things go haywire and the department or Bethany are absolutely opposed, or the guardian ad litem are absolutely opposed to the reunification occurring by that time, it's going to take a petition with additional allegations alleging abuse or neglect or the extreme likelihood of same in order to, and I'll hear the evidence, obviously, but that would be what would be required, I guess, if that reunification was not going to occur by March 30th. Is there anything further for today?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right,
No, Your Honor.
all set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.